Views and opinions of any of the guests of After Hours AM are not necessarily the views and opinions of After Hours AM, its hosts, its staff, or any of its affiliates.
Welcome to the After Hours program.
Are you
Now broadcasting live from the After Hours AM studio, Joel Sturgis and Eric Olson.
Welcome to this edition of After Hours AM, a special Christmas edition of After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, right along with me,
Eric Olson.
Eric Jingle Bells Olson.
Jingle all the frickin' way.
That's right. There you go. Tonight we are actually top of the hour. We are going to play a really rare one. It's the 1939 Mercury Theater Orson Welles, A Christmas Carol. Top
Very
of the hour.
exciting. I am pumped about that.
That one you don't hear very often. I do a lot of digging and a lot of, asking, and got it. And there we go. We can play it, of course. And, well, I'm excited because, it's cool to hear these old radio serials, number one, but number two, when it's a holiday theme. And how often do you hear A Christmas Carol anymore being played out there?
Well, certainly not the 1939 version
No,
with Orson Welles in the Mercury Radio Theater. So that is very, very exciting. By the way, is that your wife at the very beginning of the show who does the little intro?
It is.
She has a cute little voice.
She does. You know that? She's cute as a button, man. She
should be keeping coats closed. That's how cute she is.
All 5'1" of her or 5 foot. I can't remember how tall she is because she always lies to me about how tall she is. Like if we're at the doctor's office and she'll say like 5'2", and I'll say, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're like
in high heels.
Yes, and then they're like, no, ma'am, you're 5'1.5". No, I'm 5'2", and their argument ensues. And yeah, well, anyhow,
have I ever told you my ex-wife's sister? 4'10.5".
Oh, that's got to be rough.
She was a little woman, very, very sad. She died early.
Oh,
it was very sad, but she was short and jolly.
She didn't get stepped on, did she?
She did not get stepped on.
Okay. Being that short,
She was what a little wee person she was.
Did we ever? God bless her soul, of course, and great person, I'm sure of it. But did you ever feel a little self-conscious around her? You being so tall. You being so tall.
You get used to it.
I mean, I don't.
She just becomes herself.
But what I'm saying is, you being so tall, her being so short, you don't want to run into her, knee her in the head or anything.
All right, so check this out. She, like I said, 4'10.5". I mean, I'm tall-ish. I'm not real tall. I'm like 6'1". But her husband, he is
7'3".
6'3".
Oh, no
Exactly
way.
right. So, I mean, he's literally 1.5 feet.
Wow.
Think about it.
Opposites truly do attract sometimes, I guess.
They really, really do. And I had a friend in college who was, I think, 6'10".
Wow.
Very, very tall. And his girlfriend, who I'm almost positive became his wife, was like 5'1".
Really interesting. I'm 6 foot, right around 6 foot tall. She's 5'1.5". Okay, I'll give you the half. even though I think you're cheating a half in there. But anyhow, she is much shorter than I am. I think the biggest individual I ever met was Andre the Giant years ago.
Oh boy, he was big.
He was big. he was giant.
Not just tall. Was
no,
he
just
7'5",
big.
I think?
His hand was like a catcher's mitt.
I met Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who I think is 7'4". Wow. He was listed. He was always listed shorter than that, but he really is like 7'4". But he's not a super wide, bulky guy. He's just really, really tall.
Yeah, and lanky. He's an athlete, a basketball player.
Very lanky.
So that's kind of their build right there, is long and lanky.
We have a real good friend who's 6'7", and after a while you're just used to it. Yep,
sure.
There he is. He's big.
Yep. I bet you
big
that
guy. There he is.
Bet she's really, really, really needed this time of year with tree toppings.
He is like the Bumble, the reform Bumble.
You call him up. Hey, get over here. We need some help. Yeah, shows up. What do you want, little man?
Yes, indeed. So, what have you been doing?
Not
preparation.
Well, shopping, and more shopping, of course. And my wife is 8 months pregnant, so not a whole lot of partaking in AKI parties are going on right now. So it's more of a home Christmas. Because, you feel bad if you leave her behind, so you got to stay home. And if you don't stay home, people scream at you incessantly. So it's just better just to stay home. So really, we've just been kind of enjoying the season with the kids and decorating, buying gifts, of course. And you went tonight to go shopping of all nights. I did mine early. I think I started shopping in October, to be honest with you.
Oh, my goodness. Well, my wife's been doing things, and we've picked up things here and there, and there's always Amazon. I got on the old Amazon about...
The old interwebs and the old Amazon. Yay, old Amazon.
I think that was last Friday, maybe. So, that was in plenty of time, so all the stuff's arriving, although a couple things haven't shown up yet. Or they hadn't as of earlier today. I assume they were going to show up today. But yeah, as far as really getting out there and doing that concentrated, very specifically, this is Christmas shopping. Yeah, today was the day. But we left.
You and
left
everybody
early.
else.
It was an AM to PM thing. I just got back a little bit ago.
I know when we were getting ready for the show, you hit me up and you said, "Man, I have to go Christmas shopping. It's crazy." And I'm thinking, you poor son of a gun. You couldn't pay me to go shopping today.
You know where my favorite place is, though?
Where's that?
Half-price books. Do you have those?
No, we do not. I wish we did, but we do not. We have Barnes & Noble. We have all other stuff. We don't have a half-price book. I wish we did. I bet you they do have a website, though.
Oh, yeah, they do. And they're a chain, but I'm not sure if they're in Minnesota.
Are they truly half-priced?
Yeah, they are. Other than brand new releases, then they're only 20-30% off. But everything else is half off or more. I mean, it's basically, probably 90-something%.
Is it used books? Or
it's all used.
It's all used. Okay.
Well, 90%.
Yeah, I wish we used to have a used bookstore. I wish we still did, but we don't. It closed, of course, like all those mom and pop places seem to be. And so I kind of miss it.
Oh, I would. Well, first of all, in general, yes, I really do miss actual bookstores, actual record stores.
Oh, I was just saying that. I was playing my guitar the other night, and I don't know if you saw the post on Facebook, but I was, playing a little AC/DC TNT, TNT, doing that whole thing. And a thought popped in my head, how cool would it be to have a record store again? I don't know, totally random thought just came into my head. But remember those days of thumbing through the records or CDs even, finding that one hard to find one that you've been looking for forever?
Well, I can still do it, but fewer and fewer places.
Yeah.
I'm in a big city, and there's still stuff around. But yeah, I mean, look at all the chains that have closed.
Everything's.
It's the same. It's very similar to books. If you're not doing used because there's still enough markup there, and while keeping the price low,
sure.
So that's really how they're surviving. But this half price is actually a chain, and so you can get just pretty much anything book wise. But then they also have CDs. They also have vinyl.
Really? No, that's a thing of the past. Is
They have
vinyl.
DVDs.
Interesting.
They have Blu-rays, of course, and so I can spend hours
Well-
and hours there.
Yeah, it's just too bad because I know even in radio now, everything's a digital download. They used to ship CDs out to the stations. They don't even do that anymore. They give you a key that unlocks a website that you download the album.
I know, I hate that.
It just makes no sense. It was cool to get the CD. You'd look at it. You'd read the liner notes. You got a feel for who the band was before you actually put the CD in the old CD player to play it for the masses. Now it's as cold, and almost clinical digital download. It's just
and
horrid.
not much information, and certainly no artwork.
No, they've done away with all that. It's just too bad. It really is.
It's sterile. It makes it sterile, like you said. It's just so dry, and
Yeah.
it's no fun.
No,
and
it's not. It's not any
taken-
fun.
It's removed the tactile element, the tactile, the touching.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It really hasn't. And let's just be honest. How many artists are even playing their own instruments anymore?
Well,
You know.
that's another side of it. I think actually, honestly, I think the artificial versus, quote unquote, organic or real instruments, I think that's actually been swinging back the other way.
Well, it should, because you cannot beat the sound of a finely tuned Fender guitar.
Or any live
Yes.
organic instrument. And remember now, most of these bands, almost all, unless you're, Taylor Swift, and Katy Perry, all of these bands are now making the money that they make live. So
Yes.
you got to be able to play live.
Yeah, you do. The album sales are not impacting as much as it used to, but that being what it is, times are changing. Speaking of times are changing, I haven't seen the movie yet, Star Wars.
Oh
I
my!
haven't even seen it yet. Haven't even gotten any free time to do this. What was it like, without spoiling it for the rest of us that haven't seen it? All four of us. What was it good? Did it live up to the hype?
It was really good. I will give you a fairly concise but relatively detailed assessment, such as my want. All right, if you have seen the very first Star Wars
Yes.
movie, the original Star Wars,
Yes.
you will know much of what's going to happen in this film. It is literally a template taken from the first Star
So
Wars
it's a
movie.
continuation of the
No,
first.
it's more like a reboot.
Oh.
And so what I'm saying is the time is different. This is the time now is after, I think it was X number of years.
You had to say reboot, though.
30 years, 40 years. It's like 30 years or thereabouts after the end of the third one.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So, in other words, it takes place between the two trilogies. This trilogy will be the middle, the center trilogy. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So, that's different. And the main characters are, of course, different. Although, as I'm sure you know, they all come back.
All right. Here's the question,
All
and
the main
anyone that hasn't seen the movie, plug your ears, because I'm going to ask the question, and hopefully he will answer. Again, plug your ears if you've not seen it. Where's Luke Skywalker? Who
We
is
do
he?
Not this actually really surprised me because I knew they were all in it, all the original guys. You don't see Luke till the very, very, very end of the movie, and only for a few seconds.
Are you kidding me?
And not kidding you. And he is off by himself on a very, very remote location. I believe it's an island. It's either an island or a peninsula. And he is sought out by a new young Jedi who didn't even know she was a Jedi. So if you can think of the parallels, young, this time it's a girl, supposed to be
Mhm.
maybe late teenager on a desert planet, living with relatives, technically adept,
Okay.
already a really good pilot.
Oh.
Are things coming back to your mind?
Yeah, they are. They are.
There's even a frickin' Death Star. And I'm not kidding.
Yeah, it's Darth Vader. Yeah.
All right.
I knew
No, I
it.
mean a Death Star. Literally.
Really?
A Death
Oh,
Star.
okay.
Like in the first one. So
Yeah,
anyway, it is the parallels in the storylines and in the main characters are rather remarkably similar.
Okay, now did Harrison Ford still look good? Did the rest of them look good?
Harrison Ford looks like you've seen him for the last
how about
several years.
how about
he looks
Carrie-
fine. He looks good. He
what's-
looks, he
is
does
it-
not look his age.
How about Princess Leia? Has she just gone downhill or?
She looked a little rough, but not
Yeah.
as rough as she's looked. I mean,
Well,
you know about her life.
Oh my
right?
gosh,
I mean,
she's lived such a hard life.
tough,
It's not even funny.
tough life.
Oh my
for,
God, she's breaking into houses and everything else.
for a couple of decades.
Yeah, she was-
heavy drinking, heavy drugs. Taking that all into account, she looked pretty good.
Well, then, all things considered, you're saying she was a fox. You wouldn't go that far, would you?
She's too old. at this point. But,
yeah.
she looked fine. She
Yeah.
looked fine. Yeah, she no problem, no issue. Her daughter's in it. The one who's in Scream Queens. She's
Okay.
in this one
Okay.
as well.
Well, that's good. I'm gonna probably go see it this coming week.
Anyway, having said, there are probably too many similarities
Yeah.
to the very first Star Wars movie. Having said that, it's still a great movie. Very exciting.
Mhm.
Like the characters, well acted. I love the fact that it was much more practical effects and much more human scale than the prior trilogy, which was all CGI and everything was so big and
Mhm.
galactic. We're back down to people, right?
Yeah.
And it's the people that count. And it's the people who are fighting. And every life counts and every death counts.
Wow. I mean, thing of it is that's the way it should be done.
Exactly.
I mean, it's gotten over to the top of CGI. I have actually been kind of in a vacuum lately. I haven't watched anything, period, for about the last week. I've been wanting to. Last movie I saw was The Hunger Games. Of course, Krampus, stuff like that. But I haven't really gone actively to see anything, mainly because, man, I'm so burnt out.
You work more hours than God.
Yes,
So you
radio,
probably need to back off on that.
radio
Yeah,
is a fickle mistress, my friend.
we haven't gotten out either. Other than today, and it was just a shop. Yeah, we just watch all the Christmas shows. We've been trying to get caught up. Usually we start right at the beginning of December and kind of space them out, and watch a few a week with the kids and whoever comes over and whatnot. And we started that Thanksgiving weekend with Scrooged was the very first one we watched. But then we had a big gap because we've been super crazy.
Oh,
busy
man,
like nuts.
it's-
and the kids are so busy. They're out at night. They're doing stuff. They have all these rehearsals. They both have been in plays. They've both been in shows. They both do music. It really has been crazy go nuts. So we're just trying to get caught up now. And I mean, tomorrow is Christmas Eve.
But looking at the coming week, and of course, we're at the end of the year here pretty much. I got to say, man, we had a hell of a year on After Hours AM.
We did.
And we
even
will have
with
a
our
year-
little gap there in the
Yeah,
summer.
we will
have
do-
some great shows. I know it's a ton of work to do all that editing. I wonder if we can
We're gonna
slap
do
anything together.
We're
next-
gonna
for
do a
next week.
year in review, including some of the stuff from Storytellers, because
Fantastic.
we gotta have the Grammy winners on.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we cannot have them on. Not have them on.
No, that was a great show.
And that was a great show. And maybe I'll even put the guy that was standing next to the dumpster swearing. Maybe I'll put him in there, and I'll just have to clean it up. I mean, really clean it up.
You mean the show that never aired?
Yeah. Do you remember that, man? Oh my gosh, we had.
It was the punk rock bowling show.
It was a punk rock bowling show, and these guys lived and breathed punk rock. Sorry, excuse me. Especially the one guy that was literally standing by a dumpster at a ghetto birthday party, talking to us.
It really was. They were in the alley.
Yeah,
and they're like, they're just doing it up alley style.
And my
It
God,
was drama in real life.
it was, and every other word was expletive. Let's just put it that way. It was gonna
It
go.
was military.
It was pretty bad. They're Marines. I'm pretty sure that blushed during that show.
It was hardcore. And then we had the almost opposite end of the spectrum. We had the rather genteel Englishman, Dave Wakeling from the English Beat on, and he couldn't have been more on the other side.
No,
of the personality
and
scale.
you could just
and he's like my age. And,
Yep.
So, I mean, it was so opposite. But because of the editing issues and because we got kicked off the air.
We did. We got kicked off the air. I don't think we made it 10 minutes with that guy. And all the stations went dark on us. It was just kind of funny.
On the one hand, it's classic. On the other hand, it's not.
We will tell the story in full detail next week because that is one of the most memorable stories of the year. It wasn't the guest himself, but what we endured to get the guest and to have him on the air with us.
And the delivery.
Oh, the delivery.
Not the content. The content was fine.
Yeah, the content was awesome. All right, we get it. We
the
know it.
delivery.
You live it, you breathe it. All right, you are it. We get that.
All right, you know what I want to talk about? Since of course, we are airing A Christmas Carol, which will be super fantastically cool. I'm very, very excited about that. It's the perfect night for it. And, of course, we're on a special night tonight. It's Wednesday. It's not Thursday because, of course, tomorrow is Christmas Eve. But we have been covering Weird Christmas like a wet blanket.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And I mean it in a good way.
We have been on it like white on rice, my friend.
Red on apple.
Stink on... No, I won't go there.
Unless it's a Macintosh. All right, so the latest one, I only had a chance to squeeze in one article because, man, these things take me forever. I think this was like 5 hours yesterday. So the latest one is Angels, Angelic Intervention. It's all over the history of Christmas. If you guys want to go check it out, go to America's-most-haunted.com. It is the latest article. Weird Christmas, Angels we have heard on high. And when I started thinking about it, of course, we know, obviously, the nativity story. Angels came to the shepherds, startled the hell out of them, so to speak.
Scared them. They ran away.
No pun intended. And, of course, not just any angel, but Gabriel himself.
The Mac Daddy angel shows up.
Appeared in the flesh, as it were, to Mary, announcing that she would be having this kid and, she'd still be a virgin and it's all going to work out and just trust me.
I'm sure her dad totally believed that, too, that she's a virgin.
I'm sure Joseph was like, yeah.
He's like, okay, whatever.
So in order to combat the fact that Joseph was a cool guy and all, but he was a human, so, Gabriel went to him, too.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Went right to Joseph and said, now look, Joseph,
we
know you're betrothed to this married chick, but she's going to be pregnant, but it won't be her fault.
You should have been more responsible.
You better not dump her or we'll be mad. So I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. I would imagine you are. There's no these or thous in there, so yeah.
I'm paraphrasing a bit, but that is the essence of it. Now let's think about other angels in Christmas history. How about the lovable but bumbling Clarence in It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes, that wanted to get his wings in the worst way.
And he finally
He did because the bell rang.
Oh no, it's a spoiler.
Yes, I know. We don't want to spoil it for anyone.
1946 movie.
Yeah, we don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. But it does end well. The angel does get his wings.
Now, how about this? Picture this. Linus's speech in A Charlie Brown Christmas is one of the, I think, highlights of television history, period.
Wow, even bigger than JFK saying it's not what you can do for your country, or rather what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country.
Well, I'm not categorizing, or I am categorizing. I'm not going to put them in order.
Okay.
We're not going to get ordinal here.
All right.
But I'm saying it really is one of the highlights.
Don't get anal with the ordinals? Okay.
Exactly. Of television history, because it was so touching. But did you know that CBS did not want them to get that religious?
Really? I did not know that. See, I would have thought back then it wouldn't have been a problem.
No, even then, 1965, they did not. It was like, well, that's... What are you talking about?
Yeah.
This is Christmas. What are you talking about all this religious crap for?
Yeah, well, look
This is Christmas. It's not religion.
Yeah, today it's... I have not heard one traditional Christmas carol outside of church all year.
Well, it depends where you listen. Depends what your source is. We flip around. We have Sirius XM.
Yeah.
At least two of their channels do play a fair amount. One's kind of contemporary or relatively contemporary,
Sure.
and the other is more traditional. I just mean it's more chronological than anything.
Yeah.
But they both play. They do play actual carols and hymns as long as they're by someone you've heard of.
But I think you're right though. The Charlie Brown speech, it was pretty powerful.
It was extremely powerful. And remember, the kid, he was a 7-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He really was. That was another thing that was very different about the Charlie Brown specials, those original, all of them for that matter. But at the time, it was so unusual to actually have children playing children.
Well, yeah, exactly. And instead of adults, which I run into that more than I like to say, these children that happen to be in adult bodies. Ugh, that's a whole nother show dealing with that. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, usually they had women, who had high voices playing children.
Yeah.
And June Foray, I'm sure you remember her.
I do.
She was all over, Looney Tunes and everything
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, she all the children in the Charlie Brown specials, all the seasonal specials, they really were all kids. And this was a 7-year-old kid who read that, exceptionally famous, touching This Is What Christmas Is from Luke. And I mean, it was so powerful. People just were dumbstruck because even in 1965, they hadn't seen anything like that on network television in a long time.
No, they had it. Now, I know we only got about 3 minutes left before we go to the break, and then we come back with Haunted America. America's Most Haunted Headlines, rather, excuse me. But what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Well, movie or video of any kind.
I mean movie. I mean, one that we all can identify with.
I'd say Charlie Brown.
Okay.
If I had to pick one, I love the very first. That was the very first Charlie Brown special of any kind.
Sure.
It was the first, animated primetime Christmas special, and it was an enormous success, and it kicked off all those Rankin and Basses, and everything that came after that.
I got two of them. I got, of course, A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott in it, the old 70s one. And then A Christmas Story with "You're Gonna Shoot Your Eye Out," because I can relate to it.
Well,
because I was that boy once.
Love, both of those. Love Christmas Story. We're here in Cleveland. Remember, it was shot here. The house is here.
Wow.
And it's a museum. The
Cool.
house
To
that
the
it was
movie.
shot in is open to the public. You can go
Really?
and see the house from A Christmas Story.
Is it
And
all dolled up all year round?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
You can go anytime.
The only-
Obviously, it's most popular this time of year.
The only thing
but
we have is Bob Dylan's house. Come on.
That's what you got. Well, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
Well, and a few other things. And the Glen
is
Sheen
not
Mansion in Duluth, which is really cool as well. But we don't have anything that cool. I wish we did.
Well, so I agree with you on that. It depends. There's kind of categories, right?
Sure.
There's full-length movies like
Videos and
the two you named. Then there's the TV specials.
Yeah.
We still love the great Rankin Bass, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman.
But I
Love it.
always watch, no matter what, at least one time National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Already watched
At
it.
least one time during the year, which I already did.
Extraordinary classic. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. It's got comedy. It has it all in it, really.
It really does.
But have you seen Randy Quaid lately? Wow.
Oh, my.
He is a train wreck and a half.
And
Wow.
his wife. I think they're both behind bars.
They're crazy.
They are both crazy and criminal.
Yes. I saw. I was actually reaching out to his people to get him on the show tonight, and they said, because he was in the movie, and they said, he's currently incarcerated. I said, oh, I didn't even know that.
And might be for some
Yeah,
time.
and might be for some time was what
Somebody
the PR people said.
Crossing the border, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were trying to flee the country, and they think the Zionists are after him and everything else. But we got to get out of here, man. We get enough Randy Quaid talk. We got to get out of here. Pay some bills, play some music. We come back. America's Most Haunted Headlines. Hey everybody, this is Joel Sturgis, and did you know that After Hours AM and America's Most Haunted have a great new website out there? You're going to want to visit America's-Most-Haunted.com. There you can get all the new content from all the writers for America's Most Haunted, as well as the great haunted headlines everybody loves each and every week, as well as catch After Hours AM live right there, along with podcasts, past shows, and get to know your hosts, as well as contact us all in one stop. You're going to love it. You're not going to want to go anywhere else. So come to America's-Most-Haunted.com today.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If pop culture is to be believed, roughly 40% of all people are actually vampires, or dating one. Well, undead or not, you can always save on a clean, comfortable room at Motel 6, even if you sleep during the day because direct sunlight turns you into a pile of sparkly coffee grounds. Speaking of which, we have free coffee every morning. You day sleepers may want to go for the decaf. I'm Tom Bodette, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed,
680 to 90
could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My backyard.
Oh, your backyard. Try telling a bear that.
I did, and this bear talked back.
Talking bear, that's rich.
No, wait, it was Smokey Bear.
Smokey. Why didn't you say so?
I did say so.
Continue.
I was burning yard waste.
No, boy.
He told me to burn legally and responsibly, and to remember that if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
And as always, he's right. You know, 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Yeah, I know that now.
Thanks to me.
Actually, thanks to Smokey.
As usual, the talking bear gets all the credit. Get your Smokey on. Always burn responsibly and contact your local fire department for open burning regulations. Because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. Only you can prevent wildfires.
No, I want an officer red undercover knife and 200 rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Welcome back to After Hours AM. Oh, sorry, I was going to do my scary voice. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to After Hours AM with your haunted, America's Most Haunted. I haven't talked today. Did I tell you I talked way too much today?
I hear you were doing things political for extended
just
periods
talk. So I'm like tongue-tied. So let me try that again. Everybody, welcome back to After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, right along with me,
Eric Olson.
And we are going to be talking about America's Most Haunted headlines.
We are covering the paranormal news down your street, up your alley.
And down your throat. No,
and maybe in the sewer.
In the sewer.
Yeah. We're down there with Pennywise.
Yes, right? We're down there giggling while we watch you walk by.
All right, well, we've already mentioned our latest weird Christmas article, and it's about angels. We've mentioned that. Probably no need to go further on that. And, of course, this time of year, as anyone who's been listening to the show for the last few weeks has heard, as we've covered kind of anything and everything to do with Christmas and the season that many of the traditions that we now celebrate as Christmas celebration, actually came because of the winter solstice, and this being the very, very shortest daylight of the year and the time when the sun, in essence, turns around. Picture, if you will, in a pre-modern time, and the nights are getting longer and longer and longer, and the days are getting shorter and shorter, and the sun is appearing lower and lower in the sky. Now, of course, all this is the northern hemisphere. Flip it around if you're in the southern hemisphere. But we're talking about the northern hemisphere. So finally, the reason the solstice was so incredibly important is that after that night, that shortest night, the sun starts coming back. So we're already coming back.
Starts to rebound.
As of tonight, we're on our way back.
All right.
So we got a great picture here. This was just from this year. This was from the solstice at Ireland's New Grange Monument, which it turns out does have astronomical elements and does show light through a special gap only on the solstices.
Wow.
How cool is that? Now think about this. This place is 5,000 years old. It's 1,000 years, or at least 500 years, older than Stonehenge.
Yes. Yes, it is. And that's what's cool. I mean, Stonehenge, for a long time, I mean, we still are scratching our heads at, to be completely honest, but I think we're moving closer and closer to the truth of why it's there and what it was used for.
Well, what's really changed just in the last few years is, and you're hearing new things, weekly, monthly that they're finding, is they finally realized it's actually an enormous area. Stonehenge is just one little area. There's all kinds of monuments all around it. That whole area was a very sacred, special area. For hundreds, if not thousands of years. And there's all kinds of other things that they are now finding under the surface because they have the ground-penetrating radar going now.
Yeah. Now, do you think virgins are sacrificed there? Do you think it was a place of we're going to sacrifice this chick because we want to have another year of sunshine? Or do you think it was more of a spiritual place? What do you think?
I think all the above. Sadly, as it's turning out, this is kind of a little secret people don't like to talk about. If you go back far enough in pretty much any culture, human sacrifice.
That's right. That was a big deal back then. Now to find a virgin hanging around, you really got to look these days. So I mean, that could be why it kind of tapered off.
You got to get out the old microscope.
You do.
Or is it a telescope?
One of the two.
Whether you're going macro or
the reason why I bring that up is because, totally off-topic side note, my wife, of course, is pregnant, and we were in the baby. I go to every appointment with her. I hear the baby's heartbeat, how's things doing. We got in the conversation about, just everyday things, and I saw this thing on the wall that said, if you're 11 or pregnant, you must tell the OBGYN. And I joked her, I said, yeah, what 11-year-olds can be pregnant? She says 14-year-olds are fairly common to be pregnant these days. I said, what?
Well, sadly, they always have been.
14?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You on crack?
See, this is what abortion's for. But you didn't hear it from me.
Bullets and... No, I'm kidding. What we're talking about on there.
Bullets and birth control.
That's right. Two things that keep us free. But yeah, getting back to it. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt.
And we haven't told people where to go. In a nice way. We want them to go to the Twitter. If you're a Twitter, well, whether you have a Twitter account or not, doesn't matter. Go to Twitter, and we are at AM Haunted. It's the America's Most Haunted Twitter feed. All right, so more winter solstice news. Not only is this an extraordinary astronomical time, and it's a time when the process finally is reversed of the days shrinking and the nights increasing, and we turn it around. So, hey, man, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, the winter solstice is behind us now. Things will swing back to the upswing.
It's practically summer.
Heck yeah. It was like 40 degrees damn near today, so come on.
Do you know what it is today in Northeast Ohio?
What is it?
64.
Are you kidding me? In December?
I am not
wow.
kidding. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, it may hit 70 degrees.
Are you running your air conditioning?
I haven't, no.
You
That
might.
seems a bit much.
You
I
might tomorrow.
I'm a delicate flower.
It might. You are. You're a delicate, beautiful flower.
I may. We'll have to see.
That cannot handle that kind of drastic weather change.
I cannot. All right. So anyway, the winter solstice, besides being that, and I suppose, of course, it's related to what it is astronomically, but it's also considered a time when magic, it's the time of the year when magic is most powerful.
So now, why is Halloween considered to be the time of magic is most powerful? Shouldn't it be during the winter solstice? Shouldn't we be trick-or-treating on the winter solstice?
In a sense, we are. And we've touched lightly on this in the past. I think we did last week a little bit. Originally, now remember, when a lot of these traditions, most of these traditions, came into being was during what was called the Little Ice Age, which actually lasted a few hundred years.
Oh, wow.
It lasted until the early 1800s.
Interesting.
And so it was much colder than average in the winter. So in many places, winter, not astronomically, but just temperature-wise, practical-wise.
Certain death was outside your door.
Certain death was outside your door. Winter began November 1st. Oh, so now what is Halloween?
Okay. Yep.
And as far as trick-or-treating goes, what we've seen is kind of a blending of traditions where the kids, especially these street urchins, used to go door to door at Christmas time.
Damn street urchins.
And in essence, begging,
Yeah.
I mean, you can call it what you want, but that's what trick or treating is too. Let's face it, it's begging.
Oh, it really is. It is begging, and it's kind of funny. I think of that
with
every
an
year.
air of threat.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, if you don't give me something to eat, I'm gonna pull a really nasty prank on you, and you're not gonna be
that's
very
also that was one of the reasons. If you remember what Jerry said last week, one of the reasons why Christmas came into such disfavor is that there were so many irreputable types out and about wreaking havoc, doing all kinds of things we might associate with Halloween in terms of pranks, in terms of dunning people for cash, going door to door, bugging people and all that. So
bugging them,
that was associated with
stuff.
Christmas.
Yeah, it was. It really was. I remember him saying that, and I remember him saying that it was actually kind of a dangerous time of the year for some of us.
At certain places and at certain points in the history of Christmas, especially European Christmas. So yes, so there's actually very close ties in many ways between Halloween and the solstice in terms of it being, technically the solstice is the beginning of winter.
Sure.
But usually, and again, especially in not just Europe, but the Northern Hemisphere, for those few hundred years of, I think it's the 1600s or maybe it's even the 1500s. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but it was an extended period of time. It was at least a few hundred years. It was called the Little Ice Age. So you were having much colder, much longer winters. And so, in essence, Halloween was considered the end of fall, the beginning of winter. So, but overall, if you look at the kind of the scope, and especially if you're looking at pagan type magic, Wiccans and all that, the winter solstice period, that shortest day, longest night, is considered when magic is most powerful. The difference, I think, with Halloween is the time not necessarily when magic is the most powerful, but when the veil between the worlds
That's what I was
thinnest.
always told, that it was always because the veil is thinner. That is why we have Halloween when it is. I find that all that fascinating because I would be way more scared of the winter solstice than I would a ghost. 40, 50 below zero, and
All right, so let's scroll on down. It's the end of the year, so everyone's putting together a list. We have a reference to a Bustle website article, the 13 scariest TV moments of 2015.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
I don't watch some of those shows, but certainly all the shows I watched that they picked, yes, indeed. Oh my God, when Maggie was in the sewer with the sewer zombie, that was
creepy
and gross.
That was very creepy. I like The Walking Dead, and I hate the fact they have their mid-season break, to be honest with you. But
it's long.
It's long, and they're about the only show really to do it this long, and it's working for them. But yeah, it's a lot of these shows on the list are genuinely scary. They're scary as hell.
And these moments, I mean, they're literally picking out moments that were the scariest. And certainly the ones of the shows that I watch, I would have to agree. So you can get to that Bustle article from the America's Most Haunted Twitter feed. Speaking of lists, here's another one. This was pretty cool. I have seen all these. This was on Bloody Disgusting. It's the scariest Christmas holiday TV episodes. In other words, a regular TV show doing a Christmas episode, which are the scariest.
Tales from the Crypt has got to be number one.
It's right on.
It's got to be, because I mean that one with the Santa Claus, that was the murder coming down the chimney. I mean, it was a scary episode.
It really was.
It
yeah,
scared the hell right out. I remember as a kid, young kid, I saw a movie called, what was it? I had an uncle at the time was kind of a jerk. And he made me watch, and I thought it was going to be a Christmas movie, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Oh, my God, I'll never forget that as long as I live. Why is Santa Claus carrying an axe and killing people? Oh, my God!
Well, this is less traditional, shall we say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tales from the Crypt is number one. Tales from the Dark Side, not dissimilar, is number two. Unholy Night from American Horror Story Asylum. I remember that one. Ooh boy, that was the second season. That was that was a terrible. That was scary. Then we get a little bit lighter with the Addams Family. Love them. And then I remember this too. Classic Supernatural. A Very Supernatural Christmas. That was hilarious and touching. So yeah, that's a pretty good list too. It's the time of year for lists.
It is. We will have our very own list next week. Year in review.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say year in review of After Hours AM right here of all your
It'll
favorite
be
shows.
Amazing. And don't forget, it's Wednesday also next week.
It is. It is Wednesday next week. But I'm down here over here at the Twitter, which is, of course, twitter.com, but AM Haunted. Look for us over there. And I'm looking at, you know the difference between a Yeti and Bigfoot and Sasquatch prints. Wow. That's a weird... I mean, this is a mythical creature that we have yet to discover, so how can we discern the prints? I'm a little confused.
Well, while there is no scientifically accepted proof yet for such a creature or series of creatures, there are certainly theories on what they are, what they represent, where they came from, and how they're different. And it seems that, of course, the Yeti is typically seen as having white or light brown fur, very, very heavily coated because, of course, it's up in the Himalayas. Yeah. Very cold, very high. Bigfoot would be the U.S. I don't really know of any difference between Bigfoot and Sasquatch. Aren't they just two different
names? Do they have a
union?
Thing? I'm curious if they have a union. You know what I mean? Is there a meeting that they attend? All joking aside, I was always under the assumption that there was no difference between the three. It was just different name for the same creature for just different areas.
I think perhaps Yeti is perceived as potentially at least, if not a different species, then a variation on it, a regional variation. But as far as I know, there's no big particular difference between Bigfoot and Sasquatch, just different names. But there is supposedly a difference between Bigfoot / Sasquatch.
Interesting.
And the skunk ape, which is down in the south, and that's supposedly considerably smaller.
Yeah, and more aggressive.
Small, smelly,
mean.
Mean.
Oh yeah, mean. Don't forget mean. Oh yeah,
very dangerous. Very strong. Very dangerous.
Yeah, very not, it's just nasty. You want to stay away from them.
Icky. Yeah. And I believe the Yeren, isn't that the Chinese one?
I do believe so.
I think that was supposed to be somewhat
but
smaller
Eric,
as well.
Between you and me, bring me a body. I mean, there is more evidence for ghosts than there is for Bigfoot. Let's just be completely honest. Hey, we have EVP for ghost.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have there's images and there's
What do we got?
But
The
see, you have
Patterson?
similar things with Sasquatch. The question is, do you buy it?
Yeah.
I think the most compelling Sasquatch, and I'm speaking of all the variations on that supposed creature, are the footprints. I think the casts are, can be compelling. Where do they come from? Unless they're completely fake.
I mean, you've seen the Patterson film. Come on, that grainy old monkey suit guy running around. I mean, I've seen it. You've seen it. I just have a hard time buying the Bigfoot. I mean, I know that I don't want to offend anyone out there that are Bigfoot believers. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just saying I don't buy all the evidence, obviously. But really, the most compelling thing would be the body. I mean, bring us something.
Of course, obviously.
Bring us something we can hang our hat on at least.
I agree. And that's why I am just absolutely 50-50. I'm just right down the middle regarding Sasquatch.
Look, listen to you, Mr. Switzerland over there.
It would not shock me. It wouldn't even particularly surprise me either way.
Well, if Donald Trump gets elected president, I will no longer be surprised at anything.
Imagine. I mean, it's just such a bizarre notion. It really does seem utterly surreal. All right, move down. Do you have any tattoos?
I do.
Oh, my God.
I have 3.
Oh, no.
I do. From my younger days, I have 3 tattoos.
Oh,
one of them. You can't talk to me anymore.
No.
Oh, do you have any, Mr. Rock and Roller?
Of course not.
You don't have any tattoos?
No.
Why would you not have a tattoo?
I hate tattoos.
Why do you hate tattoos? What have they ever done to you?
I'll tell you why. Because the body is God's temple.
Yeah, but what if you want to decorate your temple?
I don't want to decorate.
Yes, I do have 3 from my younger days.
What are they and where are they?
I have both of all of them on my arm, and one's Marvin the Martian from Looney Tunes. One's
no, that's not bad.
No, it's a nicely done one. Another one
don't like
is
that. I have to admit.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's Marvin, of course, and then the other 2, one's a tiger kind of thing, and then the other one is just one of those name band things that people were getting, for a while.
Are they big?
No, none of them are huge. I mean, they're the biggest one is maybe about the size of
a dime.
No, probably about the size of a deck of playing cards. The biggest one.
Big.
The smallest one.
I'm mostly just giving you a hard time, but yeah, I am pretty. I think it's kind of a generational thing. I was never in the military, so that it used to be. If you're my age, either if you were in the military or you're a freaking biker or just a criminal, you may have it.
So you got to be in that element, that element to get a tattoo.
It just was not very.
You just didn't go down to the tattoo shop and say, "Hey, I like that. Put that on my body."
None of that.
Really?
That's all in the last 15 years, 20 years.
What do you think about the new wave of these people having these giant earrings in their head now?
Hate it.
Or girls.
My older son had the big, huge earrings. He's been trying to regrow them now for like 5 years, and they don't grow back very quickly.
No, I mean, I've seen these people's giant, what they call them, gauges in their ears, and they're just massive.
It's idiotic.
Why would someone do that to their own body?
I don't know.
I mean, I understand
I don't
a
get
tattoo.
A lot of the piercings and the tattoos. I mean, to me, it's just defacement.
A tattoo is fairly harmless, and they can be removed. But you start cutting on your body, like totally changing it like that.
Hate it.
I don't know.
All right, so here's why I brought up tattoo.
Okay.
So you know that, how's it pronounced? Otzi, the mummy they found in the Swiss Alps.
yes. Otzi the mummy, yes.
Yeah, 5,300 years old.
Yes, he can have a tattoo. He's of age.
He has a tattoo.
On his wrist. I'm looking at it right now.
So this is my
probably
thinking.
a gang tat.
This is my thinking. Think twice before you get that tattoo. It could last 5,300 years.
Well, but at least he's getting his money's worth.
He sure is.
I mean,
boy,
you
prorate that thing, man. You figure you amortize that over 5,300.
Come on, the man had style. You're just mad. You know what, Eric? You need to go get a tattoo. That way, you should. You really should.
You know who just got a tattoo?
Your wife.
Yes.
See, there's nothing to see. Don's cool though.
It's a teeny tiny.
Don is cool.
It's a little teeny heart. It's about half the size of a dime.
Did you flip out?
No, I didn't really care. She'd mentioned it a few times. She was hiding it. She was so afraid. She took our daughter, the 16-year-old, to Chicago, And she and her friend Dawn, my wife and her friend, took Lily and her daughter, and they're both friends. So you have two best friends,
Okay.
the mothers and the daughters, and they went with another girl, with another
And they got tattoos?
to Chicago for the weekend.
Man, they drove a long way to get their tattoos then.
They did. No, Dawn was the only one who got tattoos. So they get there, and I forget how long she was back. I mean, it was like 10 days before she'd show me. She said she was terrified because
as a married,
she knows how I feel.
Well, yeah, as a married person, it's commonplace to disrobe from each other. How did you not see this tattoo, Eric?
Because it's the size of a half of a dime.
I was gonna say, what'd you do? Get it under her arm or something? I mean,
and it's on her wrist, and she wears multiple bangles and baubles on her wrist.
Okay. I got you now.
She had it completely covered.
I gotcha. See, she was afraid of you flipping out. She was afraid of it. You know what? If you got her on the air right now with us, I'd tell her, get more tattoos.
All right, so let's, while we're waiting for her. So, all right, so do you ever look at the about.com?
I do.
A lot of people do. You ever look at the paranormal?
I do. Once in a great while, I do.
What's bugging me now is they used to do paranormal news, kind of like what we're doing now, right?
Yeah.
And you would do a collection of links and put them all together, and it was always really good.
Yes, it was. I got a lot of good info for radio shows for that.
Stop doing it.
What?
Doing it. You know why? Because they don't get the traffic.
I'm going to be writing them an email.
Sending traffic away. We're talking about your tattoo. How long did you go before you told me about it? She went a week. Come on over and show it to us.
Yeah, come on over. We want to hear about the tattoo.
Come on over to the radio and show everyone your tattoo. No, see, we can't really see it, Don. This is radio.
Don, I'm proud of you.
Come on, say hi, Don.
Hello, Joel.
Hi, Don. I am proud of you. I also have tattoos.
Well, good.
So-
Maybe Eric will get a tattoo.
Yeah, I was just telling him that he needs to get a tattoo. And everyone that's listening right now that doesn't know, this is the beautiful Dawn Olson. This is Eric's better half, I might say. And she has gotten a tattoo and joined the club. And there's nothing wrong with a tasteful tattoo, in my opinion.
Oh, whatever. It's fine. Anyway, so she was all worked up and afraid and everything. She doesn't show me for a week. I think it was
You kicked her out there. Whatever, it's fine. Get the
10
hell
days.
out
So
of
she
here.
finally shows me, and I can see her face. She's like, all apprehensive. She's gritting her teeth, and I just go, whatever.
Whatever. Really? You're really worried
Your
about that?
body, man. What do I care, really?
Well, that is true. It's your body.
I mean, I don't own you.
Well, well, depends on what state you live in.
She left. Yeah. All right. So anyway, the reason I brought up about.com is he does have a very interesting article or collection of articles about allegedly actual Santa Claus visitations.
Really?
Appearances.
Where people
Yes.
hallucinated Santa Claus after they ate his mushroom?
Maybe.
I mean, because that's what he carries around, right? The magic shroom.
Some of them may derive from that, but it's pretty interesting. It's very compelling. Whether you ultimately buy it or not.
I didn't know Santa Claus is a druggie until you guys brought it to my attention a couple weeks back.
He is heavy on the hallucinogens.
He is heavy on the shrooms. That's how he gets these kids to forget he's been there. Hey, kid, come here, eat this. That's why he wants cookies all the time. The guy's got the munchies.
There can be no doubt about it whatsoever. So anyway, but check that out. Go to the paranormal section of about.com.
I will do that.
Check out the real, allegedly, Santa Claus visitations, spotting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Why don't we close out since it's almost time for a Christmas Carol from 1939, and there's nothing much cooler than that.
No.
We were mentioning Star Wars, and I was giving a brief description of it earlier. Do you realize that they are saying by this weekend, so, I mean, within a few days from now, it will have already hit the $1 billion mark.
So it's bigger than the Titanic movie was.
Oh, yes. It will be the biggest of all time.
Wow, man.
Biggest of all time.
And the only thing that will beat that is maybe a really cool Star Trek movie.
Maybe, but probably not, because for some reason, Star Wars on the movie side, because remember, Star Trek was a TV show. And I think for a lot of people, especially people who are maybe 50 plus, they still kind of think, when they think of it, the first thing that comes to mind
is William Shatner.
Is the TV series.
Yeah, it's William Shatner and
that's what I think of.
The
I think
Tribbles.
of that before I think of movies. Now, I really do like, I know you said you did too, I love the more recent, the reboot. Quote unquote.
Yeah, they're great.
Those movies are really great. I like them a lot, But there's an emotional tug to Star Wars that just doesn't seem to have really apply
This is true.
Anything other than Disney.
Yeah, I mean, I like Star Wars. I like Star Trek. Star Wars is more of it has a deeper, almost spiritual message than Star Trek, where Star Trek is more like civilization oriented, where Star Trek is more personal oriented. It's a struggle.
Personal, and it's ultimately very mystical.
Yeah, exactly. We got to get out of here, though, man. We got to go ahead. We got to play your Fox News. When we come back, you'll be able to hear the 1939 rendition of A Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it. And Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead? Of course he did. Scrooge and Marley were partners for I don't know how many years. But he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, was Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. And once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house, a grim, cheerless place if ever there was one. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, Bob Cratchit, who in a cold and dismal little cell beyond worked at his ledgers.
20, 21, 22. Merry gentlemen, let nothing you despair. 23, 26, 29. 9 carry 2. Christmas Day. 11, 13, 17, 7.
Bob Cratchit.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge?
Stop that infernal caterwauling.
Yes, sir. 9, 15, 17, 29, carry 1.
Singing their idiotic Christmas carols is my very door. Come on! Get away from my door! Go somewhere else and bellow your blasted carols or I'll give you in charge.
Sorry, Governor. It's an old custom at Christmas time, you know.
Yes, and I don't want any of your old customs. Take your fellow fools and go away. Christmas. Blah.
Right, sir. Merry Christmas anyway, sir.
Blah. Now you get that letter from Higgins and Blackthorn, Cratchit, and then I want you to finish posting this ledger, and after that you can pop over to Fothergill's and tell Ephraim Fothergill you've come after the 17 shillings and 6pence he's owed me since Michaelmas. And tell him I shall have a constable over there if he doesn't pay up at once.
Mr. Fothergill's wife has been ill, sir.
Oh, what do I care about his wife? I want my 17 and 6.
I just thought it being Christmas, sir.
Christmas. You mention that word to me once more, Bob Cratchit, and I'll...
Merry Christmas, Uncle. Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas, Mr. Fred. God save you, Uncle.
Humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle. Now, I'm sure you don't mean that.
I mean just that. Exactly that. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you? You're poor enough.
Well, what right have you to be dismal about Christmas, Uncle? You're rich enough.
Yeah.
Now, Uncle, don't be cross.
Well, what else can I be when I live in such a world of fools? What's Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without money? Merry Christmas. A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, Every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips will be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle?
Now, nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it, Uncle.
Well, let me leave it alone then. What do you want? A Christmas gift, no doubt.
I came to wish you a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
A Merry Christmas. Much good may Christmas do you. Much good it ever has done you.
There are many things from which I derive good, by which I have not profited materially, I dare say, Uncle. Christmas among the rest. But I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
God bless Christmas. Hurrah! Let me hear another sound out of you there, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation.
Yes.
As to you, nephew, I wonder you don't go into Parliament. You talk enough nonsense.
Oh, don't be angry, Uncle. I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Well, I've tried. A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year, too.
Humbug.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Bob, and the missus, and the tiny Jill.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Thank you, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day, Bob.
Nonsense. Twaddle. Flummery. They're talking of Christmas and not 2 sixpences to jingle together in his trousers pocket. Hey, you there, Bob Cratchit. Come here. What are you doing there?
Only putting a bit more coal in the fire, Mr. Scrooge. Seeing it's so cold in there, sir.
You put that coal back into the scuttle. A fire. A fire, indeed. I can tell you, if you use coal at that rate, you and I will soon be parting company, Bob Cratchit. You understand that? There's many a young fella like your situation, you know.
I'm sorry, sir. My fingers were getting a little stiff with the cold.
Then put on your mittens. There's someone at the door. Go on, see who it is.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is the firm of Scrooge and Marley.
Yes, sir.
I should like to see the head of the firm, if I may.
Oh, very good, sir.
What is it?
A gentleman to see you, Mr. Scrooge.
Huh?
Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Marley's been dead these 7 years tonight. I'm Scrooge.
Well, now, Mr. Scrooge, at this season of the year, it's only fitting that we who are more fortunate should raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of want. You may not believe it, sir, but many thousands are now in want of common necessities, and hundreds of thousands are in want of the simplest comforts.
Are there no prisons?
Well, there are plenty of prisons, sir.
And the workhouses, they're still in operation, I trust?
I wish I could say they are not, but they are, sir.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor, then?
Both very busy, sir.
I'm glad to hear that. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
No, sir, all these institutions that you mention are flourishing. But it's nevertheless true that some additional provision for the poor and the destitute must be made. A few of us upon change are endeavoring to raise such a fund, you see. And what shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, I see. You wish to be anonymous, sir.
I wish to be let alone. I don't make merry myself at Christmas time, and I can't afford to help make a lot of idle people merry. I help to support the establishments that take care of the poor. They cost enough. Let those who are badly off go there.
Many can't go there, sir. And many would rather die.
Then my advice to them is to do so and decrease the surplus population. Besides, I've only your word for it that all this is so.
It's the truth, Mr. Scrooge.
Well, so be it, then. It's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, sir.
I quite understand, Mr. Scrooge.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Show this gentleman out.
Yes, sir. This way, sir, please. Sir, I couldn't help overhearing. I should like to contribute tuppence.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. It isn't much, but it's all I can afford. But there are others in worse situation than I.
You're a generous fellow. I wish I might say so of your employer.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, sir.
Close the door.
Yes, sir. 24, 31. 1 and carry 3. New scarlet tippet for Tiny Tim. New comb for Martha. 33. 3 and carry 3. A hair ribbon for Belinda. 4, 7, 12, 15.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
It's too late to have you go to Fothergill's. You'll be closed up for Christmas like these other fools. We may as well close up the place now.
Yes, sir. It is getting a little dark. Hard to see the figures.
I suppose you'll want the entire day tomorrow.
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient. And it's not fair, either. But I suppose I can't do anything about it. If I was to stop half a crown of your wages, you'd think yourself very ill-used, I'll be bound.
Well, sir,
Yeah, you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
Once a year. Once a year, indeed. A fine excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose there's no good talking. You must have the whole day. Well, see that you're here all the earlier the next morning. You understand?
Oh, I will, sir. I will indeed. Good night, sir, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas!
The office was closed in a twinkling, and Bob Cratchit, with the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, for he boasted no greatcoat, went down a slide on Cornhill 20 times in honor of its being Christmas Eve, and then ran home to Camden Town as hard as he could pelt to play with his family at Blind Man's Bar. Scrooge, on the other hand, took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern. Having read all the newspapers and spent the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went to his dismal house. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. The yard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, had to grope with his hands through the fog and the frost to find the door. Scrooge walked through his rooms to see that all was right. Sitting room, bedroom, lumber room, all as they should be. Nobody under the table, nobody under the sofa, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet. Close the door. He locked himself in. He double-locked himself in. And took off his cravat, put on his dressing gown and slippers and his nightcap, and sat down before the fire to take his gruel.
Marley! I could have sworn I saw... Humbug. Marley's been dead these 7 years. Humbug. All humbug. What I need is a good night. What's that? Someone's in the place. But the door's locked and double locked. It's coming. It's coming closer. Outside my door. I won't believe it. This humbug's thing.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Marley. Oh, no. What do you want with me?
I want much of you, Ebenezer.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
You're very particular for a ghost. All right, then. Who were you?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley. But you're dead. You died 7 years ago.
7 years ago this very night.
You are a ghost, then.
What's wrong, Ebenezer? Don't you believe in me?
I do not.
You doubt your senses, Ebenezer?
Yes. Because a little thing affects them. Slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You can't be a ghost. You may be an undigested bit of beef, or a blot of mustard, or a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There may be more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Humbug, I tell you. Humbug! do believe in you. You are a ghost, Jacob.
Thank you.
Well, why do you walk the earth, Jacob? Why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide to witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth and turn to happiness.
Well, tell me, Jacob, what is that chain you wear around you?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard by my own free will. Is its pattern strange to you, Ebenezer?
Cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, and purses.
Yours was as heavy and as long as this 7 years ago. You have labored on it since, Ebenezer.
Oh, Jacob. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
Comfort I have none to give. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger. Weary journeys lie before me.
You travel far?
Yes, Ebenezer. On the wings of the wind.
7 years dead and traveling all the time?
7 years, Ebenezer. 7 years of remorse. Ebenezer, do you know that no space of regret can make amends for one life's opportunities misused?
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business! Mankind was my business. Charity, mercy, benevolence, they were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
Oh, Jacob, don't take on so now. Jacob.
Listen to me, Ebenezer.
I listen to you, Jacob. Go on, Jacob, now. Speak to me, but don't be so flowery.
Ebenezer, I am here to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. Do you hear that, Ebenezer?
Yes, Jacob. Yes, you always were a good friend to me, Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. But go on. How shall I escape? Oh, I'm afraid, Jacob.
You will be haunted by free spirits.
Is that the only chance and hope, Jacob?
It is your only chance and hope.
Well, then I think I'd rather not.
Without their visit, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow. When the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Ebenezer, look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us. And remember, when the bell tolls 1, look for the first spirit.
Marley! Jacob, Marley!
Scrooge awoke. He was lying on his bed fully dressed. Suddenly the curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them as close to it as I am now to you. And I am standing in the spirit at your elbow. It was a strange figure, like a child. Yet not so like a child as like an old man. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age. And yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. The arms were long and muscular, the hands the same, as if its hold were of uncommon strength.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Who's that?
Ebenezer Scrooge, I have come for you.
Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold me?
I am that spirit.
What are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
But what do you want of me? What brings you here to haunt me?
Your welfare, Ebenezer Scrooge. Rise, and walk with me?
Oh, no, not out of the window. I can't do that. I'll fall down. I'm not a spirit. I'm mortal, and I'll fall.
There but a touch of my hand upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Come, follow me.
Where are we? What's become of the city? There's snow upon the ground. Where are we?
These are the shadows of the things that have been. You recognize this countryside?
Oh, I know every inch of it. Every rock, every tree.
And that bleak building over there?
Ah, that building. I was a boy there. Yes, I went to school in that horrible place.
Do you recollect that past?
I could walk it blindfold.
Strange you should forget it so many years. Come, let us go closer. Look through the window into that cold, barren room. What do you see, Ebenezer Scrooge?
I see a boy.
A solitary child, neglected by his family, alone.
Yes, I see. I know that boy. Oh, I was so lonely. Poor boy.
Your lip is trembling, Scrooge. And what is that on your cheek?
It's nothing at all. I wish it's too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. The waits came to my door singing Christmas carols last night, and there was a boy like that among them. A poor, pale, thin little boy in a ragged coat. I should like to have given him something, that's all.
Is that all? Come, Ebenezer Scrooge. Let us see another Christmas. Do you know this place, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Know it? This is the counting house where I was apprentice. Listen. It's my old master, bless his heart. Old Fezziwig. My master, alive again, and hosted one of his Christmas parties. Listen to him.
Let the needle and back to your places.
And there's Dick Wilkins. Poor Dick. Dear. Yes, and look, there's Mrs. Fezziwig herself, looking younger than any of them. And the tables all loaded with roast, and cider, mince pie, and beer. Oh, what a jolly time we used to have.
That carefree young man with a light heart and a gay smile. Do you recognize him?
Yes. Merciful heaven. How happy I was then.
A small matter for old Fezziwig to make those silly folks so full of joy.
Small matter? Small indeed.
Isn't it? He has spent only a few pounds of your mortal money. Is that so much that he deserves praise?
It's not that, Spirit. Old Fezziwig has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or heavy. His power lies in words and looks and in things so tiny that it's impossible to count them up. The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost
What is the matter?
Oh, nothing at all, Spirit.
Something, I think.
No.
Speak.
Well, only it's just that I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk, Bob Cratchit. That's all.
My time grows short, and we have yet another journey to make.
Where now?
Come. This is our last visit to the past, Ebenezer. Here, in this little room, with a fair young girl by your side. Do you recognize yourself, Ebenezer?
No. Spare me this.
You're older now. A man in the prime of life. Your face has begun to wear the signs of care and avarice. Your eyes are greedy, the eager, restless eyes of a miser.
No, please.
She knows it too. That girl by your side. There are tears in her eyes.
That is little, Ebenezer, to you. Very little. I know that.
Belle, have I changed toward you?
When we were engaged, we were both poor.
Was it better then? Better to be poor?
Better at least to be happy. You're changed. You were another man then.
I was a boy. You blame me because I've grown wiser. Have I ever tried to break our engagement?
In words, no. Never.
In what then?
In a changed nature. In an altered spirit. In everything that made my love of any value in your sight. So I release you from your promise.
Belle!
Oh, at first it may cause you pain to lose me. A very brief pain. But soon it will be dim. Like a half-remembered dream. An unprofitable dream. And you will be glad to be awake from such a dream. May you be happy in the life you have chosen, Ebenezer. For the love of him you once served.
It's enough. Show me no more. Take me home.
These were shadows of the things that have been. That they are what they are. Do not blame me.
No more, no more.
One shadow more. Come. Do you see this man, Ebenezer Scrooge? This man might have been you. And the woman beside him, your wife. And that girl. That girl might have been your daughter, Ebenezer Scrooge. She might have called you father. She might have been a springtime in the haggard winter of your life.
Let me go. Show me no more.
Listen now while they speak, Ebenezer.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours today.
Who was it?
Yes.
How can I? Oh, I know. Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window. It wasn't shuttered. And there was a candle inside, so I couldn't help seeing him. His partner, Marley, lies at the point of death, I hear. And there Scrooge sat, all alone. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Spirit, I can't bear any more. Leave me. Haunt me no more. Take me back. Take me back.
On the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay down.
After Hours AM will be right back with Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol right after this. Hey everybody, this is Joel Sturgis, and did you know that After Hours AM and America's Most Haunted have a great new website out there? You're going to want to visit America's-Most-Haunted.com. There you can get all the new content from all the writers for America's Most Haunted, as well as the great haunted headlines everybody loves each and every week, as well as catch After Hours AM live right there, along with podcasts, past shows, and get to know your hosts, as well as contact us all in one stop. You're going to love it. You're not going to want to go anywhere else. So come to America's-Most-Haunted.com today.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Eggnog Inventor.
Mr. Eggnog Inventor.
For years you toiled away, nog after nog, cauliflower nog, trout nog, the ill-advised pork nog.
What the heck is nog?
Until one day, it hit you right in the face. Raw eggs, heavy cream, and a 5-pound bag of granulated sugar.
Recipe for disaster.
Now that's refreshment. Kinda like a protein shake, only disgusting. So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, Mr. Eggnog Inventor. And while you're at it, crack open another bucket of eggs for your nog.
Mr. Eggnog Inventor.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If pop culture is to be believed, roughly 40% of all people are actually vampires, or dating one. Well, undead or not, you can always save on a clean, comfortable room at Motel 6, even if you sleep during the day because direct sunlight turns you into a pile of sparkly coffee grounds. Speaking of which, we have free coffee every morning. You day sleepers may want to go for the decaf. I'm Tom Bodette, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome back to After Hours AM and the conclusion of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
On the stroke of one, Scrooge awakened suddenly and sat him bolt upright in his own bed. You remember the words of Marley's ghost and wondered from which direction the second specter would appear. At that moment, nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much. Now, being prepared for almost anything, he was not by any means prepared for nothing. And consequently, when no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour went by, yet nothing came. Then, as he sat in his bed, he became aware gradually of a great blaze of ruddy light that seemed to shine upon him from the adjoining room. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. It was his own sitting room, no doubt about that. But it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked a perfect grove. From every part of which bright, gleaming berries glistened, and such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as had never been known in Scrooge's time, or for many and many a winter season gone. Heaped up on the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, game, poultry, great joints of meat, sucking pigs, long wreaths of sausages, mince pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters, red-hot chestnuts, and seething bowls of punch that made the chamber dim with their delicious steam. In easy state upon this couch, there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch in shape not unlike Prentice horn, and held it up, high up to shed its light on Scrooge, as he came peeping round the door.
Come in, Ebenezer Scrooge, and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You've never seen the like of me before.
You're different from the other spirit. You're tall, almost a giant, and that great torch you carry.
Its light falls into the homes of rich and poor alike.
Spirit, take me where you will. Last time I went against my will and learned a lesson which is working now. If you have anything to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe, Ebenezer Scrooge. Touch my robe.
You brought me, Spirit?
An humble dwelling, in an humble street.
It's miserable enough.
Yet there is happiness there.
Who are these people? Who's that woman and the children?
These are the family of your clerk, Bob Cratchit. He is white, dressed in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbons, laid the table for their Christmas dinner. And there, assisting her, is their daughter Belinda, and the young man with a fork in the stuffing, that's Master Peter Cratchit, and the two little Cratchits. Listen, Scrooge.
Dear Martha, Mother!
Bless your heart alive, Martha, my dear. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Mother.
Merry Christmas. How late you are, my dear.
Oh, we'd a deal of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear away this morning.
Well, never mind so long as you're here now. Sit you down before the fire and have a warm. Lord bless you.
Where's Father?
He's been to church with Tiny Tim. They'll be along directly.
How is Tiny Tim, Mother? Any better at all?
Sometimes I think he is. And sometimes I think, oh, dear God, if anything should happen to Tiny Tim.
Mother, you mustn't even think of such a thing.
Tiny Tim.
Martha, welcome, my dear.
Merry Christmas, Father.
And Tim,
Merry Christmas, Mother.
Oh, Tim, you darling.
Oh, Father, I'm so glad to be home.
And we're so glad to have you, Martha.
And how did little Tim behave in church, Bob?
Oh, as good as gold and better.
I like church, Mother. Oh, they sang the nicest songs. I hope people saw me there.
Saw you there? And why, Tim?
Well, don't you see? Because I'm lame. And if they saw my crutch, it might be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas who it was made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Bless you, my son.
Are we ready to eat, Mother? Come on, let's eat.
Yes, children, we're all ready. Come, take your places now. And I'll wait your turn. There's plenty of stuffing and dressing and plum pudding for all of you. Martha, you take care of Tiny Tim and see that he eats plenty. He must get strong and well. Now, sit down, everyone.
And now, my dears, shall we say grace?
Spirit,
Our Father who art in
tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and the crutch without an owner carefully preserved.
Oh, no, kind Spirit. Say he'll be spared. Say he'll live.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future Ebenezer, the child will die.
And now, my dears, with such a dinner, a toast. A Merry Christmas to us all, and God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
And now to Mr. Scrooge. I'll give you a toast to Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed, who pays you all 15 shillings a week. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children, Christmas Day.
And it should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Bob. Nobody knows it better than you, poor fellow.
My dear Christmas Day.
I'll drink his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
And I say God bless him too, Mother, and everyone.
I'd like to
Nothing of high mark in all this. They were not a handsome family, these Cratchits. They were not well dressed. Their shoes were far from being waterproof. Their clothes were scanty and had known, very likely, the insides of a pawnbroker's. But they were happy, grateful, pleased with one another, and contented with the time. When at last they faded, Scrooge had his eye upon them, and especially on Tiny Tim, until the last. Many calls Scrooge made that night with a ghost of Christmas presents. Down among the miners they went who labor in the bowels of the earth, and out to sea among the sailors at their watch, dark, ghostly figures in their several stations. Much they saw, and far they went, and many places they visited, but always with a happy end. The spirits stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful. On foreign lands, and they were close at home. By poverty, and it was rich. In almshouse, hospital, and jail, where vain man in his little brief authority had not made fast the door and barred the spirit out, the spirit left his blessing. It was a long night, if it was only a night. And it was strange, too, that while Scrooge remained unaltered in his outward form, the ghost grew older. Clearly older.
My life upon this globe is very brief, Ebenezer. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Hark. The hour has come.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. There are still more things I wish to learn.
These you will learn from still another spirit. Still another spirit, Ebenezer.
Scrooge looked about him for the ghost that had vanished, and he found himself once more in his bed in his dressing gown and his nightcap on his head. He'd heard the clock strike, and then he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley. And lifting up his eyes, beheld the third spirit. A solemn phantom, shrouded in black, draped and hooded, coming towards him slowly and silently like a mist along the ground.
Ah, I know you. You are the ghosts of Christmas yet to come. You show me the shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Answer me, spirit, ghost of the future. I fear you more than any specter I've seen. Yet I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, lead on. Lead on. Night's waning fast. Time's precious. Have you brought me here again? Here to Bob Cratchit's home? But it's not the same. Why is it so quiet? So very quiet here.
Mother, please.
Oh, my son. My little son. Tiny Tim. I loved him so.
Oh, Mother dear, you mustn't. It's almost time for Father to be home. Don't let him see you crying.
Yes. Yes, Mother. He's late tonight. He walks slower than he used to. And yet I've known him to walk very fast indeed with Tiny Tim on his shoulders.
So have I, Mother.
But he was light to carry. And his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble at all. Bob.
Good evening, my dear.
You're late, Bob.
Yes, I'm sorry, my dear. I went to the churchyard today. I wish you could have gone with me. It's done your heart good to see how sweet and green a place it is. But you'll see it often, I promised him. Yes, I promised Tiny Tim we'd walk there on a Sunday.
Father dear.
It's God's will, Bob.
I'm trying to understand it, my dear. My son, my little son, Tiny Tim. And I loved him so. Oh, that's cruel. Cruel. Spirit, can't you give me one ray of hope that I may change all that Tiny Tim may live? Taking me now. Here, on a common street spirit? What is there for me to learn here? Who are those men?
I don't know much about it. Either way, I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral for prominent life. I don't know anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided.
Come to think of it, Albert I was his best friend.
What?
We used to nod to each other when we met in the street. Spirit, tell me, who is this man that died? Is there no one to mourn the poor creature? No one to follow him to the grave? Perhaps they'll give him a green grave at least, like poor Tiny Tim. Perhaps... Where are we now? Merciful heaven, a churchyard. Overrun by grass and weeds, choked with too much burying, desolate, lonely, crumbling grave. Spirit, before I draw nearer to that gravestone, answer me one question. Are these shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Huh? Will you not speak to me, Spirit? What is that grave to which you point? There's writing on that stone. The name on the gravestone is Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, no, Spirit, no, hear me. I'm not the man I was. Why show me this if I'm past all hope? Tell me that I can change these dreadful shadows you've shown me by an altered life. I'll honor Christmas in my heart. I'll try to keep it all the year. I'll live in the past, the present, and the future, and I'll not shut out the lessons that they teach. Tell me, Spirit. Oh, go on. Tell me that I can sponge away the writing on that stone, Spirit. I beg you, Spirit. I beg you. I promise on my knees. I promise.
Let love and joy come
It's my own bed. Oh, I'm home. In my own bed. In my own room. And the sun. The sun's shining. It's clear. It's bright. No fog. What a beautiful day. Glorious. The boy. Oh, boy.
Yes, sir?
What's the day?
What's that, sir?
Well, what day is it, my fine fella?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Ha-ha! Christmas Day! Then I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. All in one night. Heaven be praised.
How's that, sir?
Listen, my lad. You know where the poultery is in the next street?
I should say I do.
Intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Tell me, do you know if they sold the prize turkey that was hanging in the window?
The one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Yes, my buck?
It's hanging there now, sir.
That's wonderful. Go around, will you? And tell him to send it to Bob Cratchit and his family on Broad Street. And mind you, they're not to know who paid for it. Go on, hurry, my lad. Here, wait a minute. Here's £0.50 for your trouble.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And a Merry Christmas, sir.
And a Merry Christmas to you, my boy. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather, as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. Merry Christmas! A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world. My dear sir, how do you do? I beg your pardon? Well, you, sir. Aren't you the gentleman who came to my office in regard to that charity? Why, yes, sir. A Merry Christmas to you. Yes, sir. Allow me to ask your pardon, sir. And will you have the goodness to accept? I prefer to whisper this. But Lord bless me. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious? If you please. Now, not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor? Oh, my dear sir, I don't know what to say to such munificence. No, don't say anything, please. Come and see me. Will you come and see me? I will indeed. Thank you. I'm much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. Merry Christmas.
Next morning, Scrooge was early at his office. He went early for a reason. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late. That was the thing he'd set his heart upon. And he did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15, no Bob. Scrooge sat with his door wide open that he might see him come in. At last he came. His hat was off before he opened the door. His comforter, too. He's on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock.
15 at 21, 6 and carry the 1, and 24 and carry the 2, 31 and 8 and 9.
Hello, you, Cratchit.
Yes, sir.
Step this way, Cratchit, if you please. Cratchit, what do you mean by coming in at this time of day?
Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are. Yes, I think you are.
Oh, it's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. It shall not be repeated.
I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'll tell you what, my friend. I'll not stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, Bob Cratchit, I'm about to raise your salary.
Mr. Scrooge, are you quite yourself, sir?
No, thank heaven, I'm not quite myself. Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas, my good fellow. A merrier Christmas than I've given you in many a year. I shall raise your salary, and we'll see what we can do for Tiny Tim and the rest of your family. Huh? We'll discuss it this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Bob, make a fire. Make it up and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. To Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh. Little heeded them. His own heart laughed. That was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive.
Thank you for listening to this edition of After Hours AM, and we would like to wish each and every one of you a very merry and safe Christmas. Please remember to like us on Facebook and also follow us over on Twitter.